Alright guys, I thought I'd make an exhaust clip video showcasing what a stock SLP LS1 F-body should sound like, particularly the 01 and 02 models, which have the center mounted exhaust as an option. Obviously mine here is an 02. The factory setup here is stock GM headers into obviously GM cats, and the piping from pretty much the cats and the Y all the way back is SLP piping. The 01 and 02 LS1 F bodies from SLP have LS6 intakes on them, so you'll have a slightly different sound coming from the profile of the slightly different intake setup here in the 01 and 02 cars compared to the 98, 99, and 2000 cars. This car in particular is also optioned with the 345 horse package, which includes the Blackwing intake, the SLP intake from the factory. So you have an SLP intake to an LS6 intake manifold, GM downpipes, obviously GM headers and GM cats, and then fed by the back half of the exhaust being the center mount SLP unit. So here we go. A little bit about the exhaust here. In terms of road noise, it's pretty mild. It sounds pretty good from the interior. There's not a lot of drone at any given RPM within the band, and even when you're driving this car about 30 miles an hour compared to maybe 70 or 80 on the highway, there really isn't much of a negative sound that comes from this setup. They really got the sound right on these cars. I think after their experience with the first 3 years of the LS1, SLP really knew what they were doing when it came to dialing in the correct tone for the 01 and the 02 cars. The side note that I have to make is the 02 cars were given the options of Blackwing intake. So if you have an 01 that has a center mount exhaust setup, I doubt it would be that different, but you won't have the choice of Blackwing factory SLP intake. Like I said, I doubt that has a huge effect on the exhaust noise here, but you'll get 10 less horses out of the 01 model compared to my 02 here that has the 345 horse option. But the 01 and the 02 both had center mount exhaust as an option, and that'll be discussed further in another video I have about either further documentation, or SLP options offered from the factory for these cars. So I'm letting it warm up here a little bit. Outside temperature here is probably about 50 degrees, and now I'm going to get some revs out of it. Well, got a little bit of condensation, moisture buildup out of the exhaust there. I've had this car in the garage here for a handful of weeks because of the winter months and kind of the road conditions up here have been kind of crappy. But that first rev was a gradual climb to about 3,500 RPM, and then the pumps there were between 2 and 4. So hopefully this sound clip here did this car justice. I think it sounds great. It's a great stock setup. Not saying that it couldn't be better, but as far as a stock exhaust goes, it's one of the best ones I've ever heard. And for now, I've got no intention with messing with it, but that could change in the future. So stay tuned if you guys are interested in further developments on this car, and hopefully I'll have some more footage for you guys that are into the 4th gen F bodies as much as I am. So thanks for watching. See you next time.